This video is brought to you by my Etsy store, Adeline the Astrologer. Check it out for personalized Synastry chart readings and monthly transit tarot readings. Link in the description. Welcome everyone to the 10th Celebrity Synastry chart reading where I will be looking into Tom Holland and Zendaya. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Adeline. I look at the dynamic between two celebrities using astrology, specifically Synastry. For those new and returning, I take notes on a Synastry chart looking at the personal planets, signs, aspects, and if birth times available, house overlays. I share these notes and add my extra insights and interpretations along the way. And of course, as always, leave your thoughts in the comments below and let's get a discussion going. So if that sounds good to you, like, subscribe, and keep on watching. Starting off with the sun, we have Tom's sun in Gemini and Zendaya's sun in Virgo. These are both Mercury ruled signs. Tom may get frustrated with Zendaya's practicality. They understand each other well. Zendaya may not keep up with Tom. Both love to talk to each other. Tom's sun in Zendaya's 4th house. There's a sense of familiarity. Zendaya trusts Tom deeply. There's a strong desire to live together. Zendaya feels secure around Tom, so yeah, she trusts him deeply, feels secure around him, nice stuff. Tom feels they belong together. I'm pretty sure, was it he kind of like, he supposedly like manifested Zendaya? He had like this massive crush on her, now they're together. Tom is very protective of Zendaya. I'm not surprised. There's been quite a few like sort of viral videos where Tom is, protective of Zendaya. They're both committed to each other, so far, so good. Both their suns are squared together, so it's love-hate. I feel like I curse myself and the chart every time I say, yeah, it's going good so far, because immediately, big U-turn. There's a lack of understanding. They both assume the role of the leader. Well, interesting to see more of that. Competitiveness is a problem. They challenge each other to grow and develop, and initially find each other charming and attractive. Zendaya's sun squared Tom's moon. Basic misunderstandings, and there are practical disagreements. These two go back to the beginning where we saw they understand each other well, but I think so far we're seeing there seems to be more, aspects in support of they have more misunderstandings than them understanding each other. And also practical disagreements. We saw at the very beginning that Tom gets irritated with Zendaya's practicality. General discontent. Tom sees Zendaya as too rational. Yeah, going back to that. Zendaya sees Tom as too sensitive, and Tom may feel resentful towards Zendaya over time. Zendaya's sun trine Tom's Jupiter. They will overdo together. They're good travel companions. Yeah, I think they travel together for the Spider-Man movies? I'm not sure, but like, great. Possibility of unpredictability, yeah, with their careers and them being both very young, they both have a desire to make the other happy. Positive mutual respect will be maintained if they separate. I see that, publicly anyway. They both seem to be very easygoing people. Tom gives Zendaya the benefit of the doubt frequently. Yeah, if he feels they belong together, I think you would sort of do that. So now we're on to Uranus. So we have Tom's moon in Sagittarius and Zendaya's moon in Taurus. They have conflicting emotional needs. It's a generous relationship. We just saw they overdo together. So okay, the generous aspect is in their relationship. Tom feels Zendaya needs to be more imaginative. What is this with Tom feeling like Zendaya's a bit too I don't want to say boring, but practical and rational and needs to be more imaginative. This is, Zendaya may be threatened by Tom's restlessness. I think we saw in the beginning she feels she can't keep up with him, so yeah. Tom's moon in Zendaya's 10th house. Neutral relationship. Tom feels uneasy around Zendaya. I hope this is he's a bit nervous because he's been really into her for so long. It's just the nervousness. Practical reasons for this relationship. This is what I did not want to see. Because these two seem good together, but it's that sort of Spider-Man issue, not issue, but with every Spider-Man, new Spider-Man reboot, there's that couple that everyone loves and they're going to be together forever, but then it seems to be all for publicity in the end, and I don't like seeing this. They view each other as a trophy. Yeah, I don't like this. Tom feels Zendaya is selfish. Tom's moon sextile Zendaya's Mercury. They have long conversations. Feel comfortable being open with each other. It's a friendship. Yeah, you can have a friendship foundation. Mutual understanding. They both like a busy environment. Value the other's opinion and advice. And I want to bring back the mutual understanding because so far we've seen a pretty equal amount of they misunderstand each other, but they have a good understanding. So it could definitely be they have a really good mutual understanding of certain topics in life, but also disagree on others. Tom's moon trines Zendaya's Saturn. Building on past traditions is important. Is this related to, like, the past tradition of setting up people in Spider-Man? Like, I don't like this. I don't like my mind went there, but, like, I'm gonna just put it out there. I hope it's not true. Stable relationship, potential for accumulating wealth. Yeah, big wealth. Tom sees Zendaya as mature. Maybe that's why he finds her a bit too practical and everything. Like, he sees her a bit too mature. Zendaya is accountable of Tom. Zendaya prioritizes domestic life, so she seems to be a bit more like, she's a Virgo. She's gonna be a bit more, like, down to earth and, like, sort of more simple and practical, not super restless like a Gemini. Zendaya's desire for commitment is appealing to Tom. Zendaya finds it difficult to be emotionally caring. Okay, so she might be a bit too practical. Can achieve mutual long-term goals together. Tom's moon sextile Zendaya's Uranus. It's not a boring relationship. They share common eccentric friends. Yeah, they're in the same sort of circle of people. Talk about social and political issues. Mutual friends may bring them together. I mean, yeah, I don't know exactly how they met. I assume they met on the Spider-Man set, but who knows? Tom creates a loving environment for Zendaya. Yeah, I see that. Like, he seems to really like her. So far, he seems to really like her. It's just a bit, I don't want to say the word intimidated, but yeah, like, she seems a bit, not boring, but, like, I guess a bit too practical and, like, finds it difficult to be a bit emotionally caring and has difficulty keeping up with his restlessness. Tom's moon conjunct Zendaya's Pluto. They trigger strong feelings in each other. There's a strong mental attraction. They work through past relationships together and there's immense spiritual growth. It's not a superficial relationship. Tom can become needy of Zendaya. I see that. Like, the vibe of this relationship so far, I'm not saying, like, one is more into the other, one is less into the other. But I feel like, Tom is a bit more emotionally invested in this relationship. Not saying that Zendaya doesn't like Tom, but I feel like she's a bit more detached. Easy for them to talk about darker and deeper subjects. Yeah, we saw them talk about social and political issues, which can get deep. Zendaya may see Tom as too sensitive, yeah. Yeah. They subconsciously need each other. They can make great wealth together. I'm not against them making wealth together. It's just, you know, this coming up a couple times already, and with what they do and the potential that it's a publicity relationship, I don't like it that much. Zendaya's moon squared Tom's Uranus. Zendaya is possessive of Tom. The relationship can begin suddenly, and Zendaya feels emotionally insecure around Tom. So now we're on to Mercury. So we have Tom's Mercury in Taurus and Zendaya's Mercury in Libra. These are both Venetian signs. Tom gets impatient with Zendaya. Tom teaches Zendaya how to be more practical. Huh? We kept seeing, Tom finds Zendaya to be too practical, and she genuinely seems to be a very, practical person. Zendaya teaches Tom how to be open-minded, and they fundamentally communicate the same way. Yeah, there's no issues so far with their communication. Seems to be pretty good so far. Tom's Mercury in Zendaya's third house. Tom is more chatty around Zendaya. Tom enjoys long conversations with Zendaya. We saw before they have long conversations together. And Zendaya will enjoy conversations with Tom. So there seems to be a good, friendship foundation to this relationship, as we saw before. Tom's Mercury sextile Zendaya's Venus. They encourage each other to express themselves. They have easy communication. We see again. Attuned emotionally, enjoy the same movies and music. Good. I mean, it kind of helps. They share mutual friends and they enjoy socializing together. So yeah, we keep seeing they share, mutual friends and have the same social circle, which is, I'm guessing that's right. I don't know them personally, I wish. Tom's Mercury tried Zendaya's Neptune. Zendaya inspires Tom's imagination. I think I want to read into this in terms of, Tom saw Zendaya. I'm pretty sure that's the story. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure that's the story. Tom had a bit of, a crush on Zendaya and sort of, pretty sure the story was that he kind of manifested her. They share an appreciation for the arts, they get each other, and they're forgiving of each other. I see that. There seems to be a bit of it's not a conflict. I mean, it kind of is, depending on how you handle it, really. But they seem to have a good friendship dynamic. So the fact that Zendaya seems to be too detached and a bit more I don't want to stable. She's stable. But it's not to insult Tom, like he just seems to be a bit more eccentric and like out there. Zendaya's Mercury opposite Tom's Saturn. Zendaya needs to be patient with Tom. Yeah, I mean, if it comes to his like sort of exuberance and eccentricness, yeah. Deep respect for the other's intelligence. We saw earlier how they both value each other's advice. Zendaya may feel intimidated by Tom's practicality. This is weird, like in the beginning it was all Zendaya's practical, Zendaya's practical, and now it's completely switched to Tom's practical. Strong and long lasting. It's interesting, I'm pretty sure we saw before how they have intense passion that keeps them together for a long time, but in the beginning we see a couple of like two deteriorating aspects, so hopefully we see more of that. Zendaya might feel like a child around Tom. I swear she was, like, it's weird because it's taken such a switch, like, where Zendaya was the mature practical one, now it's the opposite. Natural communication is difficult. Both partners subconsciously enjoy the conflict. I mean, I feel like in this case, I'm not that against it because the conflict doesn't seem to be the worst. Zendaya's Mercury, Trine Tom's Uranus. Zendaya sees Tom as an intellectual companion. They're perceptive and intuitive of each other. We saw before they have a bit of a deep connection. Zendaya becomes more inventive around Tom. So okay, both of them, they trigger each other's imagination. They have open communication. They work together on goals and encourage each other's visions. We keep seeing, like, they both work together well, they both achieve goals together, so Zendaya's Mercury, Trine Tom's Neptune, so this is a repeated aspect, just inverted, so everything still stands from there, and also Tom inspires Zendaya's imagination. Yeah, what I've been saying, they both seem to inspire that in each other. Zendaya's Mercury, Sextile Tom's Pluto. They're interested in unique subjects together. It's a therapist-patient relationship. We saw before they have a pretty deep relationship. Get to the bottom of things quickly. They share a lot together. Zendaya is fascinated by Tom's depth. Yeah, so far we saw the whole thing with Tom being practical, but when it comes to who's the sensitive one in the relationship, it seems to be Tom. Tell each other the deepest secrets. They both heal from past relationships together. Did we see that before as well? They resolve deeper matters together. Tom opens Zendaya up to new ways of thinking. Tom appreciates Zendaya's humor, and Zendaya uplifts Tom. So now we're on to Venus. We have Tom's Venus in Gemini and Zendaya's Venus in Cancer. There's a strong attraction. Zendaya likes Tom's cheerfulness and intelligence. Clash of values. I mean, maybe? I don't know. Like, we haven't seen anything about values as such. I feel like they're sort of natural personalities can be a bit clashy, but that's not end all be all, you know. Tom's teasing nature hurts Zendaya, so yeah, like, I think it's like kind of going back to Zendaya not being able to keep up with Tom. As such, she seems to be a bit more serious and practical in this relationship. Zendaya appreciates Tom's flexibility. Zendaya wants a warmer relationship with Tom. I do feel like he's very emotional. Maybe he's a bit too, like, fun. Maybe he's a bit too humorous. Tom leans on Zendaya for emotional support. Zendaya is committed to Tom, and Tom needs to pay more attention to Zendaya. Tom's Venus in Zendaya's 5th house. Tom sees Zendaya as perfect. Tom is forgiving of Zendaya's faults. Did we see before they have a forgiving relationship? If we did, it's coming more from Tom's side. Zendaya appreciates the admiration from Tom. Zendaya may take advantage of Tom. And they're both satisfied with each other. Outside of the one we just saw before, I feel like this makes a lot of sense because Tom seems to really view Zendaya very highly, put on the high pedestal. Zendaya's Venus, Sextile Tom's Mars. It's an energizing relationship for Zendaya. Her ego is definitely being stroked here, and her confidence. Love at first sight, from Tom's side, isn't it? Tom feels confident around Zendaya, and Tom helps Zendaya out of her comfort zone. Zendaya's Venus opposite Tom's Neptune. Zendaya may prefer to idolize Tom, and she's so caught up in love she doesn't know Tom. I thought this would be the other way around, but we'll see more. Tom doesn't like Zendaya's idolization, and Tom needs to be careful of promising too much. Lies occur to protect from pain. Tom communicates with Zendaya vaguely. Both find it difficult to stay. Neither can define what attracts them to the other. So now we're on to Mars. We have Tom's Mars in Taurus and Zendaya's Mars in Cancer. Both get suddenly argumentative when provoked. They depend on each other. I'm pretty sure we're seeing again. They both have stubborn tendency. Maybe that's where a bit of conflict lies. Zendaya is protective of Tom, so we saw that from Tom's end before, so I guess both of them are protective of each other. Tom is patient with Zendaya, yeah, he's very forgiving and patient with her. Tom's Mars in Zendaya's 3rd house. Tom is more blunt around Zendaya. Zendaya may intimidate Tom, I'm not surprised at all. Zendaya is sensitive to Tom's intensity, so Zendaya seems to be a bit touchy when it comes to Tom's, like, certain characteristics, like, I guess his intensity, but also we saw she's a bit sensitive to, like, any personal jokes he might make. Their Mars signs are sextile to each other, so there's a healthy competitiveness. I think we saw a couple times in the beginning. They do sports together, fighting can happen quickly. Interesting how we just saw they both get suddenly argumentative. They're supportive of each other, and they're in sync. So far, I mean, we're going towards the end of the reading. They do, in the beginning, it seemed like they had very contrasting personalities. I still kind of agree with that because Tom does still seem to be a bit more, like, eccentric and, like, sort of, you know, he likes to, like, play around, you know, and Zendaya seems to be a bit more serious in that way, but in every other way, they both seem to be practical and emotional people. Tom's Mars, Trine Zendaya's Neptune. There's a lack of boundaries. Zendaya strengthens Tom's ego. Yeah, my ego would be pretty strengthened if, like, I was pining after someone and then they finally agreed to be with me. Tom feels confident around Zendaya, which is nice. Zendaya's Mars, opposite Tom's Neptune. Opposite approaches to taking risks. Yeah, I feel like Tom would be a bit more flippant with that, but Zendaya, she seems to be more serious and, like, probably would consider things more. Arguments about the differences between their wants, and they have arguments about the differences between their wants. So that was the final aspect. My thoughts so far, I feel like this is a pretty, like, accurate relationship, like, from what we see in the public. The whole thing with, like, Tom really being into Zendaya and, like, finally getting her is, like, very much confirmed in this reading, and we've seen both of them are very protective of each other. There was quite a few aspects of them, you know, being very materially successful together and financially successful, both of them sharing the same social circle. So it's pretty accurate in terms of those things. Like, all things I very much expected. I don't like that we saw some of the work things, because it's like, it would be quite unfortunate if this was another, like, Spider-Man couple where, like, oh, everyone's in love with them, but then yeah, it just ends as soon as the franchise does, so we'll see. Because there was a bit of conflict with the longevity of the relationship. We saw some aspects that indicate they're going to be together for a long time, but also some that said no, so time will tell, I guess. But yeah, there doesn't seem to be anything inherently bad in this relationship, like, besides the contrasting, like, sort of personality traits with, like, Zendaya being a bit more serious and Tom being less serious, but, you know, it's not end-all be-all. I'm pretty sure I said that a couple times before. Like, it's a bit of, yeah, work, but it's not the worst, because they seem to have a lot of other positive aspects to balance that out. So yeah, that is the end of the reading. If you did like this video, give this video a like, subscribe to this channel for more Synastry chart readings, and I will see you guys next time. Bye! This video is brought to you by my Etsy store, Adeline the Astrologer. Check it out for personalized Synastry chart readings and monthly transit tarot readings. Link in the description.